Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Friday, August 4th, 2023, Barack Obama's birthday. And the big story this evening, police have to make arrests in Union Square, New York City, because of supposedly solely the promotion of a social media personality and the unexpected crowd that showed up. And the story is that this guy streams on all these major platforms, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, and has millions of followers. And this evening, what has reportedly happened in New York City is the news on CNN, on Fox News, on the BBC. YouTuber giveaway sparks chaos in Manhattan. And again, there's something really interesting that stands out about this. For people who just watch the news and just believe what they see on the news, get out and realize that the news isn't looking for stories to cover. They're looking to present what they have planned to present for the day. And as we'll get to, there's something real interesting about the alignment with Cenat, the YouTuber or the Instagrammer or the TikToker or whatever social media platform you want to name, the Twitcher. There's a real interesting pattern with his birthday. He turned 21 years old at the end of last year. Real interesting, something about 21 and today. But again, is this just caused by his social media promotion, or is there something more going on here? And what people need to understand is the people who control our media, which is our government, they see the threats of the time, and they're always trying to get ahead of those threats. And again, one of those threats is freedom of speech. That's why they're undermining freedom of speech, and they're undermining freedom of assembly. To make a point, this young man was born in 2001, the year 9/11 happened in New York City. He's born in New York City. This is New York City. After 9/11, there were new laws in this country that did infringe on freedom of assembly. There were now only free speech zones in America, and the law enforcement at the time had the right to ticket and arrest people who were not in accordance with speaking out only in free speech zones. This was a blatant contradiction of what this nation's supposed to be about, but it pretty much happened unchecked after 2001 in the climate of the post-9/11 era. So today, essentially, what we also have is a freedom of assembly issue, because as Americans, we're supposed to have the right to assemble. And sure, maybe assembling in the middle of New York City to get free PlayStations and inconvenience a lot of other people, that's obviously not the best use of freedom of assembly, right? It's like, well, I see, this is how they get people, because people will watch this story and they'll believe it 100% and they'll think this is exactly why it happened. And then they'll be like, you know what? Yeah, maybe that law is not really exactly the best about the First Amendment, but at least it keeps, another major traffic jam over the next PlayStation 5 giveaway by the next guy with 1 million followers on YouTube. Because that's the way people think. And again, if new laws are made that chip away at the ability for people to gather and get together, again, they've whittled away at the First Amendment. And perhaps there's a YouTuber or somebody out there who would ever, have the courage to host a meaningful get-together in New York City to speak about the injustices and lies we're all living under. Maybe this would prevent them from doing that when it needs to happen because of the Cenat PlayStation 5 giveaway, This is how things start. They plant seeds, and then down the road, there's usually more seeds planted, similar types of stories, and then laws are passed that infringe on rights and liberties, and next thing you know, you have a skeleton of the Constitution, which is where we are in America at this point in the game, but it can get a lot worse. There can be even no skeleton left. So here's why this stands out. If you're new to my channel, it's called GematriaEffectNews, because what I realized long ago, because of 9/11, is there was something to numbers and ritual. So I started to look into the meaning of numbers, because I noticed repetitious patterns with numbers in news stories. And we'll get into those repetitious patterns because they're all over this one. But I started to study what it could be because I didn't know what it was. I was like, what am I looking at with these number patterns in the news? A national emergency in New York City on 9/11, 911, when 911 was made the national emergency dialing code in 1968, the same year World Trade Center construction began. And the year George W. Bush graduated from his secret site, Skull and Bones, who was the president when 9/11 happened. But anyway, I started studying this a long time ago. Now I really understand what they're doing, and I've been teaching about it for a decade. I started 2013 in August. So here we are 10 years later. And again, just day after day, it's like this, and these numbers are a language. So here's what stands out, just for starters. He's 21 years old, the man who this is blamed on. His birthday is December 16th, 2001. He was born just after 9/11. And notice that from his last birthday, December 16th, to today, the day this happens, is 231 days. Very interesting number because 231 has a direct relationship with 21. If you add 1 through 21 together, it equals 231. So 231 is the 21st triangular number. But these numbers are peas in a mathematical pod. Also, his name is Kai, which has a gematria value of 21. So special day for him. But it happens on 8/4. And as we're always talking about, the numbers that come together again and again, 21 and 84. And that's because the word Jesuit is 84. When you decode, up here, Chi, where we started, 21. K is the 11th letter of the alphabetic order. A is the first. I is the 9th. You add up the letters as numbers. A is 1 up to Z is 26. The letters become numbers. It's simple addition. Chi equals 21. The word Jesuit, when you use the alphabetic order, J would be the 10th letter, E would be the 5th, S would be the 19th. You add up those letters, Jesuit equals 84. Use the 21st, I is the 9th, T is the 20th. Prince said, I would die for you with the number 4 and the letter U, the 21st letter, and died on 4/21. Prince on the Queen's birthday. But anyhow, Jesuit's 84 with the alphabetic order. It's 21 when you take the alphabetic order and use numerology. So J, the 10th letter, becomes 1. J is 1 because the numerology of 10 is 1 plus 0 is 1. E's the 5th letter, it's still 5. It's already a single-digit number. S, the 19th letter, becomes 1 plus 9 is 10. 1 plus 10 is, or 10 becomes 1 plus 0 is 1. So S breaks down to 1 in the same way J does. U, the 21st letter, is 2 plus 1 is 3. I is 9. T, the 20th, is 2 plus 0 is 2. So you have 1 plus 5 plus 1 plus 3 plus 9 plus 2 for 21. Simple addition, simple mathematics. And, at the beginning of the week, we were talking about the death of the HBO youngin, 25 years old HBO star. HBO equals 25. 8 plus 2 plus 15. And his name was Angus Cloud, which equaled 153, like drug overdose, dead on the day, leaving 153 days left in the air. Well, his death had to do with Pee Wee Herman. But anyhow, today, the culprit is he promised to give out these rare PlayStation 5s that are hard to buy even if you have money because there's a shortage of them. And he said he was going to give out a lot, so it brought out a massive crowd. This is the story, right? That's what they're telling us. This brought out enough people to cause chaos. And that's the thing, too. It's like the kids who came out today in the news footage are kids who've never been outside before, and they've just been playing Grand Theft Auto their whole life. So they thought when they went outside, they actually act like the Grand Theft Auto character. We're seeing that in the news tonight. I mean, it's like, where do these people come from? Since when did you think you could go out and climb on everything in New York City? Like, really? But again, what I'm trying to suggest is a scene has been orchestrated here, and there's different components to it. First of all, you have somebody who's on social media, but you know what? These social media companies, if they don't like you, they'll bury you in the algorithm. They don't want people to hear about your information. If they don't want people to hear about your New York get-together, they'll make sure that that is killed as much as possible with the way these platforms are. This guy's getting famous by doing things like setting fireworks off in his house. And, what offends me, honestly, is, again, Twitch, the platform that he's biggest on. Twitch, all the platforms have just censored this work. All of them. YouTube, 20-some channels deleted all the way. But Twitch is one of the platforms that banned me without explanation when I was out doing it on the corner, waking people up to the jab agenda day after day, 24/7, 365. Out there giving people a real warning that had merit based on good research. And I got banned on their platform for that. But this guy's to millions of people, kind of encouraging, hey, look how fun this is to set off fireworks in your house and start a fire. It's just, this stuff is gross, really, right? It's like, okay, in what world is that an acceptable thing to be broadcasting online and possibly instigating? I mean, if millions of people are watching these videos, and a lot of them are young people, and a lot of young people are impressionable, like, I can set off the fireworks in the living room too. I mean, and again, I'm not saying any speech should be censored, but I'm like, okay, I'm getting censored on the corner for putting out a message and something that people should really think about. But this guy can have millions of followers and set his living room on fire because he can afford to off the social media massive revenue streams. But anyway, again, the point I'm making is if you're new here, this Jesuit topic's a big topic, and we're always talking about how the Jesuits control all these big tech companies. I was making the point about 1984, big year for big tech, and Mark Zuckerberg's birth year and all this. And, here we are later in the day on 8/4, and we're talking about social media and big tech. And again, I just see another story being planted for why they need to whittle away more rights and liberties and prevent, the next social media person from having a large assembly about something more meaningful than getting PlayStation 5s. So I hope I'm communicating my point. But here, other familiar patterns to talk about. Notice it is 231 days after his birthday, which is also 33 weeks. 33. Special number with the police. The police are here. The police presence. Number of the authorities in the government and secret societies. 33. If you're new here, in Gematria, Masonry equals 33, as does 84. Again, it's 8/4. Modern Freemasonry is a Jesuit creation, and it was created in the city of London, divided into 33 neighborhood areas. But in light of it being 33 weeks after his birthday, remember, he's born the year 9/11, and 33 years before 2001 was 1968, when 911 was made the code. World Trade Center construction began. Buildings, masons, the builders. But it was also the year 2001, A Space Odyssey came out in 68, 33 years earlier. 33 is this repetitious number in these events. It's the master teacher number, and the word teacher itself equals 33. It's like this number is again and again in big news stories that they want everybody to know about, just like this one. They want everybody to know. Big story on CNN tonight, big story on Fox News, big story on BBC, big story on every news network. Social media personality creates riot in New York City. Police have to make arrests. They said he was in police custody, but really he was just, talking to the police. He's not in custody. False reporting by the news. And, what I also heard the police chief say today on the news broadcast is that he doesn't think there'll be any criminal problems for the guy who held the rally because it wasn't really his fault. It was the chaos of the crowd that showed up. And he said it's more of a societal thing, right? So again, and society is another 33 word. And we humans that make up society have 33 bones that run up the vertebrae, which is why the numbers of fascination to masonry and the headquarters of masonry in DC is at the address 1733, with 33 pillars on the outside, each 33 feet tall. But alphabetic order and numerology, again, all those words 33. Police, masonry, secrecy, order. If you run the alphabetic order in reverse with numerology, New York's 33. Forwards and backwards, there's only 4 out of the 50 states that have a 33 connection. 3 in the darker blue cipher, and the only one that's in 33 outside the darker blue cipher is New York. New York. And for the record, New York's 33. Here, actually, let's just talk about New York. 111 in the most simple cipher. Y'all know what happened to the Mets in the 111th World Series when it ended on 11/1, and Matt Harvey got pulled after 111 pitches, and September 11th happened on the day, leaving 111 days left in the year. But New York, 33, like we just talked about. Today to September 11th is a total span of 39 days. 39, huge number in New York history. Even the Federal Reserve in New York is 39 floors tall, and notice the abbreviation NY is 39, and when you run it in reverse, NYC is 39, and George is 39, and Clinton's 39, and George Clinton was the first governor of New York, born in 1739. So, again, after 9/11, we lost rights and liberties. The right to assembly was infringed on. Today, there was an assembly, and the authorities saw it as unlawful, so they shut it down. Inconvenience to the people of New York who are already stuck in a traffic jam. Okay, he does poses like this, that old one eye. But here's what stood out as well. Again, a lot of attention came his way on this recent July 4th. So he just picked up a whole lot of new traffic with his latest stunt setting off the fireworks in his house. Again, we're talking about the Jesuits, right? The Jesuits are known for trying to blow up British Parliament with fireworks. So there's this strong association with fireworks and Jesuits. And again, July 4th. Here, look at this list. He does a show called the Kai Speed Show. The Kai Speed Show. 74, right? The World Trade Centers were on the 74th Meridian West. Union Square Park, where this happened today. Union Square Park, 74. We're talking about this number all the time on this channel. Just this morning I was talking about how Moses Malone drafted in 74 by the Jazz. How he dies right before Kobe dies in the 74th season. Or he did die during the 74th season. Also finished his career against the Jazz. Moses Malone drafted out of high school. Moses from Exodus in the Bible. 74 again. Moses doubts God and his staff's turned into a snake and Kobe the snake. And LeBron passing Kobe in points scored the day before Kobe dies in Philadelphia with snakes on the court. And again, LeBron won the finals that year that Kobe retired on the real King James's birthday. And Nate Thurman died at 74. And again, LeBron, or it was Warriors versus Cavs, which are both of Nate Thurman's teams. And anyhow, this 74, it is a hot button number that we talk about all the time. And we often pair it with 33. Again, this is 33 weeks after his birthday in Union Square Park, New York. The reason we're always about 33 and 74, look at this. We'll just go down to one cipher to make this more simple. Okay, out of the 50 states, only one equals 33. And it's the 70... Excuse me. Out of the 50 states, only one equals 74, and it's the 33rd state, Oregon. 74-33. So, notice, when you think 33 and... 33 gets a lot of its symbolism from Jesus on the cross at age 33. Jesus is 74. So is cross. So is Messiah. So is gospel. So is parables. Again, the Jesuits served the Roman Catholic Church, which is obviously correlated with Jesus. And when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, if you run it in reverse, Roman is 74. You see how Tupac is 74 and Machiavelli is 74? There's a lot more to that, but again, Tupac on the cross and the album put out shortly after his death with the hit song Hail Mary, like Catholic, but that album was put out November 5th, the day leaving 56 days left in the year. The day that the Jesuits tried to blow up British Parliament with fireworks. The other year, Travis Scott, his stage was a big cross and the people were trampled in the Astroworld tragedy on the anniversary of the Tupac album coming out. Remember the 5th of November. But anyhow, 74 and 33. Again, the World Trade Centers on the 74th Meridian come down 33 years after construction begins. Independence Day has the Gematria 74. They're shooting off fireworks in the house, starting fires, getting a huge audience. How fun does that look? I wish I could afford to burn up my house. Maybe if I burn up my house, I'll have 6 million subs and make enough ad revenue to pay for it. These are the kind of ideas that get put in people's heads, though. Those ideas are okay. I guess at the end of the day, those ideas contribute to the GDP. If somebody burns down their house and a whole new one has to be built, that's actually good for business. Waking up to Pfizer treating you like a guinea pig, that's not good for business, so that gets censored and banned. That's not worthy of our platform. You got to burn down your living room for an audience of 1 million people, then you can show up. Anyway, what also stands out, this man was born 96 days after September 11th. Look at the word assembly, 96, right? 96. And again, that's the thing today. People assembled for free PlayStations and they got arrested and, the police are all over. And again, after 9/11, the right to assemble was also. So I see that as a parallel. And by the way, here, let me make another point about assembly. Again, the 4 base ciphers, alphabetic order forwards and backwards. Assembly is also 48. Today's date can be written 4/8. Freemason, 96 and 48, just like assembly. Then when I started to read CNN's first article, just listen to it. The New York Police Department took social media star Cenat into custody, which is actually false reporting. He didn't go into custody. They just talked to him. After thousands-strong crowds gathered in Union Square for a giveaway, leaving multiple people arrested and multiple police officers injured. Cenat, who has over 4 million followers on YouTube. So notice they come first with the 4 on YouTube, even though it's his smallest platform, then 5 on Instagram, then 6.5 million on Twitch. The stream was to have a huge giveaway at 4 p.m. in Union Square, right? 4 million on YouTube, 4 p.m. in Union Square. This is on the 4th of the month. It's number 44's birthday, Obama. The crowd spurred the NYPD to activate a level 4 response, right? That's a lot of 4. That's a lot of 4. And since they went with YouTube first, and we know the way YouTube, I know how YouTube operates better than any of these platforms just from being on it the most out of all of them. And they very much operate by the numbers, but I noticed something interesting about his first ever YouTube video. It looks like his social media blew up in 2016. He was late to the game on YouTube. He went there 2 years later. Here's his most recent videos at the time of this. I rented Us Girlfriends in Japan. I don't know what that is. Visiting Aunt Kathy. Interesting. 30 Days, the Cenat documentary. Running 54 minutes and change. 30 days, you guys. I mean, 30. Not the nicest number in Gematria. Slavery, the N-word, Tuskegee, and beyond. I don't know who Ruby Rose is. Lil Uzi Vert, the man who said he would die at a young age. He's a young age right now. 50th anniversary of hip-hop's coming up. His name sounds like Lucifer, which is another 74 word in Gematria. And then the guy who he has the podcast with, living with him. Okay, so anyway, those are his recent videos, but I thought I put the screenshot up here, did I not? Oh, it's right here. His first ever YouTube video was published on January 13th. And here's what I was already looking at with this. I had decoded his name and saw that his name, Kai Carlos Cenat, was 113. And I thought, okay, that could be a coincidence when I first looked at it. Then I noticed one of his latest videos, which is curious. Aunt Kathy, 113. Then I noticed first YouTube video on 113. And remember what it is about YouTube and 113. I have an old post from years ago. This post is from 2017, back when Kai Cenat was new to this, back when my channel was already getting smashed with the censorship. But YouTube launched on the 113th day of the year, and 113 is not an arbitrary number. Baba Kama 113a says those who are Jews may use lies to circumvent those who are not, as long as it's in a legal setting. So it has to do with dishonesty, and words like mainstream, dishonest, perverted, not true, not honest, not factual, disinfo, politics, perjury, fiction, BS. More words have to do with dishonesty. They're all 113. Big dishonesty number. And it doesn't necessarily mean if you decode your name and your name is 113, it means you're a dishonest person. I mean, it's not really the way it works, but you see how these numbers are used in these rituals. And what is dishonest is if this is an orchestrated thing. You know, you are using a YouTuber who has a big following, and you know he's giving away an item that's highly coveted. So you have that, and you probably get a pretty good turnout from that. But then maybe you also have some psychopaths unleashed on the crowd to create chaos, like what they did at the Seattle World Trade Organization riots just for 9/11, the World Trade Centers. But they bring instigators to crowds to create problems, to create their storylines for their ongoing agenda of why Americans need less and less rights and liberties, and authority needs more and more authority to take away those rights and liberties. So, again, that's how I see this news, because it's just so perfectly orchestrated. You know, he goes by KC3. K is the 11th letter, C is the 3rd, 1133. And again, 113 is the number of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. The Scottish Rite of Freemasonry was created by the Jesuit order. They share a motto, ad Marum de Gloriam. But anyhow, again, Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, their headquarters in D.C., 33 pillars on the outside, each 33 feet tall. You got this guy, Agent 113, exactly 33 weeks after his birthday, being the supposed reason, the sole reason. Well, actually, the police chief, when he did speak, he said the crowd was more the problem than him. So, okay, you have these two components. You have him, the instigator, and then untamed society But again, 33 weeks after his birthday, for this to become the news, and isn't this the news, the problem with the authorities saving us and then keeping us safer in the future with less rights and liberties? Isn't this the game? How many fours can they put in there on number 44's birthday? Inside Edition's 19-second clip of the chaos. For people who are new here, we've been doing this forever. The chaos is 19, the chaos number. That's why we were worried about 2020 way before it came around, before Cenat even had a channel. We were predicting how bad 20 would be. We didn't even know it was going to be COVID-19, but we knew it would be something 19 years after 9/11 and the 19 hijackers. It's always a war every 19 years. War on germs, war on terror. 19 years before that, war on drugs. 19 years before that, war on JFK's head. 19 years before that, World War II. Most U.S. troops deployed that year in 44. So yeah, I'd never heard of this guy before, and but I just don't think that this is the way it's being presented. I think what's wrong is there's no investigative journalism, and if there was, people who work for these news networks would be digging up the fact that, that there is paid-for provocateurs and curious funding and a real agenda, because it just seems too obvious. Unless this is the sign of the younger generation and how bad it's gotten. Little Johnny couldn't get a spanking anymore, or CPS would be there. Now he just goes out and climbs on the bus, the building, your car, everyone's property, because it's his first time being outside after playing the last 20 years of Grand Theft Auto since he was in diapers. So, anyhow, we might stream about this later. I'm curious if I don't have time to do it right now, but I'd wonder if we could pick up some phone calls from some people who maybe were there, and just if they noticed anything interesting. So, or just people who were in New York City. Maybe Lincoln Karam was in the neighborhood. Decoding with Cody points out that PlayStation equals Cenat. That number is 152, and this week started on the day leaving 152 days in the year. Interesting. Yeah, those are good points. All right, we'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. It's dinner time over here. And again, thank you to everyone who hits the like and the share. Oh, also, there was a donation. Let me say thank you. Thank you, congrats to the winners. Cover the Frost Bank Center. I don't know what happened with that one this time, but I got to get off right now, so I'm going to have to cover that one later. First Bank Center? Frost Bank Center? Oh, I see. San Antonio's got new naming for their stadium. I'll look into it. Appreciate the heads up. All right, True Seeker, until next time.